YouTube continues to demonetize many videos. If you like this channel, please click on my Patreon page, link in the description. Hey comic fans, this is John, host of Video Games in the World, and welcome to the review of The Return of Superman. Most of you have already seen the upcoming Death of Superman movie, I believe, and now we are going to review the final chapter in this trilogy. This story is a lot longer than the last one, but nevertheless, it was pretty epic, and not only due to the story and the action, but also some biblical references as well. The Reign of the Superman movie is coming on January, and I can't wait to see how they adapt it. Hopefully, it'll stay very faithful to the story and not try to make it like the live-action Justice League movie on how he returned. Let us begin now, shall we? And also, there will be spoilers ahead. You've been warned. Some time has passed after the death of Superman. The people of Metropolis are trying to learn to live without him, but unfortunately things are falling out of control. Since Superman is dead, crime has risen. Supergirl and Gangbuster are working hard, but it's just not enough. However, there are news reports of Superman sightings in Metropolis. One of them is a half-man, half-machine who claims to be Superman. Another one is a teenage clone of the original who hates being called Superboy. Another one is a cult redeemer of justice who believes that he and he alone has the rightful claim to the symbol of the fallen hero. And finally, there is a man who wields a sledgehammer and wears an armor fighting with the heart and soul of Superman to defend his city from criminals with high-tech weapons. But who is the real Superman? Wow. Each of the plots of every Superman was totally phenomenal. My most favorite one of the subplots is one called Steel. John Henry Irons has a past that he tries to redeem himself from because he once worked for a company that created high-tech weapons, but then these weapons slaughtered innocent people. So then he went AWOL and changed his name to John Henry Johnson so that the company won't get him. When he sees his weapons in Metropolis, he creates an armor to withstand the firepower of these weapons, flight capacity, and begins to fight these gangs. But then he realizes that someone called the White Rabbit is selling them, and he is shocked to realize who it is. What I also like about it is that his real name is after the folk hero John Henry, who drilled against a machine using 2 sledgehammers but died after winning. Cyborg Superman's history is pretty tragic as well, but there is a difference between his history in the animated movie and in the comic book. But we will see if the sequel to The Death of Superman will at least stick to what he does in this graphic novel and not be like that raw clone of Superman Doomsday. Superboy is pretty funny and quite a ladies' man, but then he learns a hard lesson about being a show-off thanks to Steel himself. As for the Eradicator, he's a Superman who is known to use extreme forces on criminals, and also he could either burn them or cripple them. I like how Luthor had a bigger role in this story, such as trying to get the Superman on his side while hiding his true intentions. As for the writing, the dialogue, and the drawings, I gotta say that they did a fantastic job with the epic moments, funny moments, and biblical references. And what do I mean by biblical references? Well, as you know, Superman's death and return alludes the death and resurrection of Jesus. As for the Superman, they allude the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Before the conclusion, you should know that the Death of Superman trilogy was also adapted into a video game by Blizzard Entertainment. That's right, Blizzard Entertainment long before Overwatch and Warcraft ever existed. The game is pretty good, but the music was not so awesome. In that game you can play as Superman and all the 4 Supermen, Cyborg Superman, Steel, Eradicator, and Superboy. And finally, in conclusion, it was a great conclusion to an awesome story arc. I loved a lot of the things in the story. Superman's resurrection was one of the most epic things ever seen in comic books. He returned stronger than ever, and I also liked appearances by not only the Justice League, but also appearances by Jade, Obsidian, and Alan Scott. I hope you enjoyed this trilogy I have reviewed. Now, will I ever do a Nightfall review someday? Of course I will! My final score for this story is an A+. Until next time, comic fans, this is John, host of Video Games in the World. Have a good one. Bye-bye.